the most stately buildings I've ever been in, the marble and the art, and I've always just been in love with this building. And it's great for our inner city kids to be able to come to a safe haven, to play chess, to be around the art and family. And we really do treat it like a family. Amen? Amen. Amen. This today is our 6th annual awards for All City. So what All City is that we have all these chess teams around the city, right? And we pick the cream of the crop here today. It's a systematic system for voting. And so we choose all of the captains and all the players for the different sections. So today, with consideration of time, I want us to rumble one more time and clap it up for ourselves, all the parents, all the I've even seen a bride and a groom sit down and play a game of chess while they're waiting on the photographer. David makes these awesome resources. There are staple things that happen here, and we want to welcome you to come down on Fridays. We're here from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., and all are welcome. Children, we have student coaches that teach, so please, we welcome you. Will you come down? Yes? So without further ado, I'm going to pass this over to one of my favorite humans. He's one of the most passionate persons I've ever met in the community. He's the most consistent, and I've known him for almost 17 years now. And I'm going to hand it over to Coach Fite!
As she said, this is our 16th year, and I've been tasked to give out a Hall of Fame award. We've only given out 2 awards in 16 years, so we don't give them often. This year we're giving out 2, and I'm tasked for the first person. His name is Glenn Smith, Coach Glenn Smith. When people think about the Hall of Fame, people generally think about the number of wins a coach gets, the number of championships. But I want to talk more about the man than the number of championships and the number of wins that he coached over the years. There's 2 things that stands out about Coach Smith. Well, let me give you a little background first. I was introduced to Coach Smith about 17 years ago. And I had a huge team at Duffield. We had about 50-something kids strong. And I could only get them to a certain level, and I needed some help. So I reached out to Dr. Ed Mandell. You can wave, Dr. Mandell. Dr. Mandell is the second Hall of Fame person that's going to be announced shortly. And he introduced him to me, and he came over, and to make a long story short, he was just totally phenomenal. He was tough, he was fierce, he had grit, he was everything you could ask for in a coach. He was loving, compassionate. And so I have about 100 stories, but I only want to share 2 that says a lot about his character and the type of person that he was. The first story, it really didn't deal with a chess player. It dealt with one of my math students. And I was on my prep hour. For those of you that know education, teachers get a prep. And that's the hour you get to just do whatever you got to do, grade papers, etc. And the counselor had called me and said, "Hey, Fite, I have a student in my office that, and I'm going to say it nicely, that she wanted to give up." And I'll just say it like that. And I said, "Wow, bring her to my room." And she brought her downstairs, and I found out that her parents were on drugs, and for the last 2 months, the lights was off, the gas was off, everything was off. It was just a dark house, no food, no nothing. And I had no idea this was going on. And I should say that this was the last day before Christmas break. So you know what that told me immediately was she knew for the next 2 weeks she was not going to have any food and no light. And so the day before, I put her in the Rhonda Walker Foundation. And Rhonda and I are really good friends. And so Rhonda didn't know her that well because she had just got into her foundation. And so Rhonda was going out of town that day, and she rushed up to the school real fast. It was a Friday. And she took her for a ride, and I wasn't privy to that conversation. And she said, I'm going to bring her back to the DIA. I'm going to drop her off at the DIA. I said, fine, don't worry, I'll take over from there. Well, when I got to the DIA, Coach Smith and I were talking, and I was telling him about what was going on, and it was really bothering me. And I gave him a little bit more detail than what I'm giving you right now. Coach Smith went into his pocket, and mind you, he's retired. Okay, he's retired, which means adults, you know what I mean when I say he's retired. So he reached into his pocket. He had about $83, $84, and gave me all of it. And I said, Coach, I can't take this. And he did this. And if you know Coach Smith, when he does this, that means stop it. Take that money, give it to her. And so I say that to say, and there's a lot of stories like that, that this man did over the years. My second story, and my final story, is about how he was a protector of his kids. A protector. And some of the older kids know Coach Smith in this room today. There was about a year and a half when the DIA was closed. They were doing renovations. And for some of you older people in here that's been around, we actually played a couple of years at the Skillman Library downtown. And so one day, I was walking and the kids were playing, and I looked at one of my students. His name was Bryan Green. And he was beating up a coach. I mean, like, really bad. Like, he had queens and rooks, and the coach had like a pawn and a bishop or something. It was crazy. So I didn't think nothing of it because top players will be the coach any given day. So I sit down, and 3-4 minutes later, Byron gets up, and he has this bewildered look on his face. And I said, what's wrong, B? And he said, I don't know. And I said, what do you mean you don't know? I said, you won the game, didn't you? He said, no, it was a draw. And I said, oh, you got a stalemate? And he said, no. He said, the coach told me it was the mule rule. And I said, the what rule? And he said, the mule rule. And so at that time, I'm still, I've been coaching a couple years, but I had never heard of the mule rule. So Anthony Lacey, for some of you older guys that remember Coach Lacey, he was in the room, and I asked him, I said, you heard the mule rule? He said, no. Coach Smith, I said, you heard the mule rule? And he said, no. And I explained to them what had happened. Coach Smith was getting ready to do a beeline to the coach, because Coach Smith was fierce. I mean, he's a little guy, but he was fierce. And I grabbed him like, Coach, wait, you can't go over there right now. Wait, I gotta be diplomatic with this. So I went and got a rule book, and all three of us, Coach Lacey, Coach Smith, when we looking through the book, no mule rule. At this point, Coach Smith took off, and I couldn't grab him. And he went over to the coach, and he said, look at here. Now, mind you, he's old school. He said, look at here, to the coach. He said, when our students beat you, accept it gracefully. If you can't do that, you don't need to be around our children. And that coach never came back. And so, let's fast forward to 2019. There was about 2 years where I didn't see him. And me and some of the other coaches, Coach Glenn Barnett and some of the other people, Coach Dominic, we were asking him, hey, has anybody seen Coach Smith? We've been calling, no nothing. And so we didn't know where he was. And so finally, someone called and said that he was at a hospital, not a hospital, I think what is it? Retirement. And I'm sorry, what is it called?
Rehab. It's a rehab.
A rehab. And that he had some form of dementia. So The adults in the room, I know that you know what that is. And I'm going to be very honest with you. I've heard about it, but I've never met anyone that had. And when I went into the room, and I walked in and I saw him, and he was in a wheelchair, and I said, "Hey, Coach, how you doing?" And he looked up. He said, "Hey, man, how you doing?" And gave me a handshake, and it made me feel warm, but I don't think he really knew who I was, but that was just how he is. And it crushed me for a minute. It crushed me because when he was there, I was wondering how many people are visiting him. You know, it reminded me of when my grandfather was put into a nursing home because he had lost both of his legs. And we would go and see him every day, me and my siblings and my mother. And then the people in his room never had visitors, so they looked forward to seeing us because we were their visitors too. But let me show you how life is. So the first day when I was talking to him, one of the nurses overheard me, and she said, "You coach chess?" And I said, "I sure do." And I said, "This man right here," I said, "he was the best." And then she said, "Wow, my nephew plays chess." And then I said, "Really, who's your nephew?" And she said, "In fact, he was a state champion." And I said, "Not that many state champions, you know." And I got to know the kid. I said, "Who was it?" She said, "Jordan Sweet." I said, "That was my kid." And so, is Jordan Sweet in here? Stand up. And Jordan, and his aunt said, I'm gonna really look out for him. So it gets better. So the very next week, I went to see Coach Smith, and we sitting there, we talking. And one of Coach Smith's top players and one of my top students walks in her RN uniform, and she said, "Stand up, Tina. Stand up." She's Coach Smith's RN. So I say all that to say this. And to the family, his family who's here tonight, Coach, even though Coach Smith is there, he's going to be all right. He's going to be all right because he got us, he got you, he got them. He's going to be all right. So with that being said, I would like for the family of Coach Glenn Smith to come up, and any student, either who he was taught by or if you knew him, come on up and take a picture, please. Oh, can we lift this up, please?
Elijah.
Well, you know what? That might make it good.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it back. Yeah,
leave it there.
All right, hold it.
What do you need, Mom?
That's okay. We're gonna leave it up.
Sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
This thing is so flat. Bridgette was texting you. I'm gonna take a picture. No, not yet. He was Lord's first coach.
And I forgot to tell you one thing. He was scheduled to be here. His family was going to bring him, but he had a fall today. So that's why he couldn't be here. But so thank you guys for listening to that story. Ms. Martinez?
about Dr. Ed Mandell. This introduction of Dr. Ed Mandell to the Detroit City Chess Club Hall of Fame is a long time coming.
Yes, sir.
Whether it's through housing competitive chess tournaments, or the availability of classes, or discounted entry fees
Yes,
for
sir.
those who are less fortunate.
Yes, sir.
He has culture, our culture.
Yes, sir.
Without Dr. Ed Mandell, I would not be here. He gave me my first coaching job by snatching me out of the Skittles room and saying, could you go in there and teach those kids something on that board? I didn't know what to teach them, but I went back there and did it. And so about 15 years later, here I am. I've been coaching ever since. So thank you for that opportunity, Dr. Ed. Now at his All the King's Men chess store, he gave a tournament. My first tournament I played in there was a Summer Swiss. And these tournaments, I brought my kids from Spain to Castet to Roper, all my kids to these tournaments. And my first tournament I played in, he actually let me play this tournament with a baby in my hand.
Wow.
And I've never seen this before. You know, I still wonder, why did you let me do that? Is that in the rules? And so that baby that I was holding, now that baby is 16 years old, Bryan Wilson Jr. And he's played in over 100 of Dr. Ed's tournaments at All the King's Men.
Right.
Dr. Ed Mandell his All the King's Men, I lived there. I mean, literally, he gave me a key to the store. And I took advantage of that, Dr. Ed. I mean, sometimes doors closed, I come and read those books, you know. And I used to literally make a pallet for my son. Lay him out on the table, we'll play chess at 7 in the morning. So he really cultured a family environment. I'm here representing a big community in the chess community. And any one of those people could be giving a speech right now. I want to mention some of those. Glenn Barnett, Anthony Lacey, Robert Ellis, Little Steve, Masters Bill Cotton, Dmitry Obakov, Mickey Malloy, and John Brooks. And of course, the famous sideline grandmaster, Kurt. And many others that I might have not mentioned. On behalf of them, we congratulate you and your family, and on behalf of the Detroit City Chess Club, on your introduction into the Detroit City Chess Club Hall of Fame. Congratulations. If anybody wants to come up here and take a picture with Dr. Ed, please come on up.
of our teams tonight being honored as all city recipients could be future Hall of Fame inductees as well. So this is cyclical, and we expect that we're going to continue to develop these young people, and we lean on our full community for that support. I have the distinct honor of introducing our guest speaker for this evening. So to our board of directors, our Hall of Fame in All City, honorees, special guests and parents, good evening.
Good evening.
I am Bridgette Motley, one of the board members for the Detroit City Chess Club. Mr. Donnell White is an acclaimed leader in Detroit. He served the Detroit branch of the NAACP as executive director from 2011 to 2018 and holds the distinction of being the youngest executive director to be appointed in the history of the NAACP. I'm getting a little older. Mr. White joined Chemical Bank in June of 2018 as Chief Diversity Officer and Director of Strategic Partnerships. In his position, Mr. White is responsible for establishing and leading strategies to attract, engage, and develop diverse talent across the organization, as well as focusing on developing relationships with community groups and business organizations in the city of Detroit, just like ours, the Detroit City Chess Club. Mr. White is certainly committed. He is a founding member of the New York University's Brennan Center for Justice Law Enforcement Signatory Group, co-chair of ClearCorps Detroit, member of the Detroit Public Safety Foundation, Federal Bureau of Investigation's Multicultural Advisory Committee, Wayne State University President's Community Advisory Committee Group, and the DTE Energy Community Advisory Board. Mr. Donnell White is a graduate of my alma mater, Michigan State University. And a proud member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. It gives me, again, great pleasure, great personal pleasure to introduce and welcome Mr. Donnell White as our special guest speaker tonight.
Life is only but a minute, 60 seconds in. Forced upon you, can't refuse it. Didn't seek it, didn't choose it. But it's up to you to use it. Give an account if you abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but eternity is in it. Those were the words of Dr. Benjamin Mays as he described Dr. King's span of his life, who had done so much in such a short time frame as he lay prostrate at his funeral, articulating his life and what he was able to accomplish. And while tonight is about celebrations and we should be full of smiles, and I thought it was apropos that we just stop and really realize what we're accomplishing this evening. How far we've come along our journeys. The game of chess is much more than a game of chess, but it's a game of life. And there's lessons to be learned along the way. And so I count this evening as one of my life's greatest pleasures to be a part of this moment. Because it's an opportunity for us to redirect history and redirect the chronicles that are written about our young people. Yes, sir. And the stories that are being told about what they're able to accomplish and what they are destined for. And there's so many gaps left for opportunity for us to tell the true story. There's an African proverb that says, the tale of the hunt will always glorify the hunter until the lion learns how to tell its own story. Well, this evening, we're going to tell our own story. To all those who are here being honored, our young people, congratulations. To the parents, thank you. For your parents, for like my parents, and I use parents in the broadest of terms. Some of them are paternal, Some of them are aunties and uncles. Some of them are big mamas or granddads, uncles, aunties, neighbors, cousins. But we were able to get our young people where they needed to be to pick up on these skills and start them on their journeys in the right direction. And so, hats off to you this evening. As they bring these trophies home, yes. As they bring these trophies home, take pride, put it on the mantle, knowing that you too have a role in tonight's honors. To the board of directors and to Coach Fite and anyone else who had anything to do with me being a part of this, thank you for your leadership. Coach, I can only imagine there's been nights when it wasn't easy. And for those of you who are working with Coach and working with our young people, I can only imagine there were days when the resources weren't there. I can only imagine you realized when there was days when it was obvious that this was much more than chess. That you had an opportunity to stand in the gap to ensure that our young people had a shot, an opportunity to be the best that they could be. And so I'm appreciative for all that you do, because our young people deserve that opportunity, so thank you. Let's thank our coaches and our mentors for working with our young people. To Dave Provost and Mrs. Provost, who are the chairman of Chemical Bank, thank them for their leadership and their involvement here at Chemical Bank, but also in working with the All City Chess Awards. We want to thank them for their leadership. So as I understand it, there's 3 phases of the game. 3 phases. I won't be long, I promise. I know these awards and there's some celebrations likely happening this evening. But there are 3 phases of the game. After a bad opening, there's hope for the middle game. Is that right now? I'm probably the wrong person to ask about chess, but as I understand it, after a bad opening, there's hope. Hope for the middle game. And after a bad middle game, there's what? Hope for the end game. The reality is that there's hope. Hope. Some of us are in the opening phases of our life right now. We're wondering and asking questions, why me? Well, how come I started off a little bit different than what I might see on TV or Instagram, or like what is there for me in this game called life? The opening. I want to encourage you to keep pushing on to your middle game. Keep fighting through. Keep looking for your next move. Keep planning ahead. Keeping in mind the strategies. Life also brings about those phases in our student life, our work life, and even on into retirement for those who was joking earlier, who thought you made it to that point in life. A good opening play leads to a better middle game positions, and a good middle game play can lead to favorable end-game positions. Every phase of chess play and of life is important. So don't want you to look past this opening phase. Don't look past the hurdles in your middle game, but look forward to it. Know that it's coming. Know that it's an opportunity for all of us to get better, for all of us to continue to improve. There's another lesson to be learned, and I think it can be summarized in terms of sacrifice. If you ever watched me play chess, you would think I was sacrificing everything. All my pieces seem to disappear. But position is superior to material and strategy. Hence, the chess player doesn't hesitate to sacrifice, either for a win or to defend his position. In life, young people don't hesitate to sacrifice. You are truly the epitome of what it means, the word sacrifice. You are what the dreamers dreamed. You are the reason our forefathers and foremothers bore those stripes as we were stripped from our homelands. that for the thought of a day that we would stand in a facility like the Detroit Institute of Arts, where we walked in across floors and for once we didn't have to mop. Through doors for once we didn't have to hold open. That we can come and be honored amongst our peers and our friends. Sacrifice. You're the reason why Grandmama got down on those knees and prayed night after night. You're the reason why family members are working 1 and 2 and 3 jobs just to make sure you can have the best that life can offer you. So we should be conscious of the priorities of our life and sacrifice when we need to for a better life. Another lesson to be learned is playing what the board dictates. I remember Michael Jordan said it once in Game 6. They said, "What happened?" He said, "I just took it how they gave it to me." Sometimes in life and in chess, you have to play according to what's given to you. Play your best hand. Doesn't matter what cards you have, how many pieces are left on the board. You play to the end of life. You play to the end of the game. Play what the board dictates. We need to be prepared to play. And whichever the way the game develops, our choice of mood should not matter. Likewise, we will play in life and be mindful of what happens in life, and at times are very different. What happens in a game is very different than what can happen in life. We need to be ready to face life as it comes and not grumble about it. Next is expecting bad pieces. The piece needs to be developed to be best squares. The piece which cannot be developed to a good square is called a what? A bad piece. And it's a liability. We're talking about exchanging bad pieces here.
Yes, sir.
Some of us have bad pieces of ourselves. And we know what they are. We promise, just give me one more shot now and I won't do it again. Just give me one more chance. Bad pieces. Young people sometimes is bad friends. If you were like me. Sometimes it's, we know when. Sometimes it's time to let go of the bad pieces and the bad friends and the bad parts of ourselves so that we can move forward. They often say if someone is going nowhere, let them go there by themselves. And lastly, I'll end on this note, is learning from our failures. At Chemical Bank, we have a thought that says, fail sooner to achieve quicker. Fail sooner to achieve quicker. It's not about when you fall down, it's how quickly you got back up. It's about the lessons you learned. It's not about the pieces you lose in the game, it's about how you recover and continue to move forward through strategy. Jose Raul Capablanca said it best. He said, "You may learn much more from a game you lose than from a game you win." You have to lose hundreds of games before becoming a good player. Such is life. It doesn't matter how you lose. It doesn't matter what neighborhood you came from. It doesn't matter what school you went to. It doesn't matter if you had one parent or two parents or no parents. It doesn't matter if you had the new Yeezys on. It doesn't matter if your Instagram page or Facebook page looks like another page. Learn and continue to move on. I close with this. The words of Theodore Roosevelt, who described the man or the woman in the arena. He said, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man or woman who points out how the strong man or woman stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man or the woman who is actually in the arena, who is actually in the game, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short time and time again because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows the great enthusiasms and the great devotions, who spends him or herself in a worthy cause, who at the best in the end knows the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he or she fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his or her place shall never be with the cold and timid souls who neither knew victory nor defeat. As you play this game called chess, it's much bigger than victory or defeat. Take these skill sets, look at your brother and your sister on the other side of the table, enjoy the gamemanship, the strategy, the brilliance that you bring. You are the best that we have to offer. You are not what we see on TV. You are not what the newspaper prints on the daily. You are some of the brightest minds that you can find anywhere in this world. You will be the next presidents of this country. You will be the next banker at Chemical Bank, the next director of the NAACP, the next lawyer, the next athlete, the next artist, you name it, you are it. Continue to be encouraged. Thank you for this blessing of an opportunity to share this evening with you. God bless you all.
Wow, what a message. Our players hear a similar message quite often from the coaches, drawing parallels between the game of chess and life. But parents, I tell you, as a chess parent myself, I found myself wound up in all those stages, right? Going, yeah, I know about the opening and the middle game and the end game in terms of how my children describe the game. But drawing those parallels to our own personal life took it to a whole nother level. So thank you so much, Mr. White. We really appreciate that. We'd like to present you with a token, of course, on behalf of the University Chess Club. You can't come into our house and our family without us treating you well. Present this to our guest speaker, Mr. Donnell White. And just when he thought that was good, we have another presentation to make. Mr. White mentioned David and Christine Provost of Chemical Financial Bank or Chemical Financial Corporation. We would like to bring this award to the Chemical Financial Corporation on behalf of David and Christine Provost, who are our major sponsors. So we are here in appreciation for extraordinary support of the chess community in Detroit. We salute your continued financial support of our efforts to expose children to the game of chess and the many lessons learned from playing. You didn't know that that was what was on this trophy, but how? Divine. Thank you so much.
Now it's time for the presentation of the awards. I would like for Micah Gooden and Darian Williams Jr. to come down.
2011. In 2009, I won a national title. I won 15th place in the unrated section at the Super Nationals. I'm a Caddis Tech alum. And I'm currently attending Eastern Michigan University, and I'm studying to be an elementary teacher.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Darian Williams, Jr. I just recently graduated high school from Miami Grove, and I plan on continuing my education further in the fall at Tennessee State University. From the ages of 6 to 13, I played the game of chess competitively starting as a second grader all the way until I was an 8th grader going into high school. But though my high school didn't offer chess, I still continue to use the valuable life lessons that chess taught me. And that when you beat an opponent, you're using your mind, so that's the strongest thing you could ever do possible. So. All right. Tonight I'm honored to present to you these young, brave, and talented individuals who earn what they deserve. Welcome to the 2019 Detroit Varsity Chess Olympics.
Okay, so that's enough about us. Now we're going to bring up our honorable mentions. Can you all please come up? Don't forget your certificates, and we're going to take a picture. All honorable mentions, please come up. Bring your When you all come up here, let's let the smaller group go in the front and the larger group in the back, please.
Great job, Mr. Locke. Great job. What happened there? Great job.
All right, good awesome. How are you? Good.
Can we just give them all one more round of applause? They worked really hard. Okay, now we're going to start with our awards. And the first thing we have is the second team All-City Chess Primary. First, we have Kaylin Proctor.
Gabriel.
All right. That's okay. That's okay.
Okay, now we have Taharka Turner, our team captain.
That's it. Is that a group picture now? Group picture? Now it's group picture time. Target. That way.
Okay, now we have our second team, All City Chess Elementary. First we have Fox Williams. Khalil McGinnis. Harlan Howard Jr. Right here. Jeremy Hernandez. And now we have our captain, Miss Jacqueline Gary. And now they're going to take their group picture. Don't they just look so nice, everyone? Everyone looks so nice tonight.
I didn't want to take it for everybody else got it. We'll see. Well, the little boy don't have it.
Okay, now we're going to have our first team, All City Chess Elementary. And first up we have Chase Harris. their group picture. Now we're going to move on to our first team, All City Church Junior High School. First we have Jason Woolford. Mr. Elijah Spratt. Bryan Santana Gomez. Nicholas Burton. And our team captain, Miles DeYoung, could not be here, but his father is going to accept his award for him. And now they're going to take their team picture.
Big smile, you guys. Big smile. There we
Okay, and now we have our second team, All City Chess High School. We're going to start with Miss Tamir Watkins. Now we have Amira Hill. Ian Campbell. Right here. Mr. Charles Boyd. And finally, our team captain, Miss Janice Bird.
Torrance. Real.
You always got to know the song.
Next up, we have our Renaissance graduate, Mr. Darian Williams. Next up is Kenneth Rogers III. Next up is our youngest member, Mr. Daniel Random. Mr. Houston Poe. Next, we have Maxwell Motley, who is in a class trip to DC, and so his dad will be Next up, Mr. Zachary Hooper, who is also a graduate. Next up, Mikhail Garland Jr. Nolan Bryan. And now, our team captain, Mr.
you guys. It's a dream team. Big smile. Dream team.
And now we want to invite Mr. AbdulRahman to come give us some remarks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank everyone that has helped me to acquire this achievement of becoming the 2019 All-City Dream Team Captain milestone in my chess career. Thank you to every coach and chess student that has helped me work with me to help me be in this group of young, talented kids that are the best out of the Detroit City Chess Club. It all started from a curious 8-year-old boy that was interested in expanding his knowledge about the world. This whole adventure started in the 3rd grade when I attended an after-school chess program at University of Southern California. Next, I followed my older brother to a Saturday chess practice with Coach Fite. I don't remember if it was Horatios or Kessler. Once practice was over, my mom found my brother and was looking for me, but when they found me, I was still in the room taking notes on chess. This is when I knew I had a passion for the game. Next, I began to improve and get better because my dad started working with me and I got more serious about getting trophies and awards. Eventually, I developed a hunger and passion for chess. Those were the good old days when I would try my best. Those were the good old days when I would try my best to beat my brother, but would usually get beat in the end. When I finally beat Abdullah, I was hyped. After I beat him, I knew in time I would become a great chess player. I enjoy playing chess because it is one of my favorite hobbies, and I want to continue to strive and become the best of the best through my high school chess career. If I had known that chess would lead me to meeting new people, getting awards, many accolades, and opportunities, I would pursue chess for the advice I'd like to give all of the kids striving to become some of the greatest chess players ever is to study hard. Before I tell you this advice, I just want to say a lot of the high schoolers feel that they can't take anything from this speech, but you actually can. Everyone can use some improvement here and there, no matter what age they are. That person who's giving you advice can still find ways to better your lives. Instead, you should take a small portion of your day to work on improving your game for better, because this is one of the fastest ways to grow in chess. Read the chess books and put in time to actually better your game. I'd like to end my speech with a quote from an anonymous source. There's no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs all the way to the top. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of the program.
Two quick awards, and then we're going to have closing remarks, and then we're going to take our final group shot shortly. If I can get Micah Gooden back up here and Darian Williams back up here, please. It's always been important that our former students deliver the awards to the current players. As Micah said, I was her teacher years ago, and now she's a senior at Eastern Michigan. So I just want to give her an award, Micah. And Darian is my nephew, and he is going to be going to Tennessee State University, doing some big things. Okay, next, we have the closing remarks from Catherine Martinez.
To put on these rodeos, so thank you to Bridgette. TC was working magic as always. Just stand up, TC. Like a ninja today. So thank you, we appreciate it. And JD's in the back. JD. Our children, as always, we are a family when we see each other, like the example that you said with Coach Smith. Let's continue to love each other. So I just want to say thank you again. A round of applause. And most of all, thank you for staying to the end because we do have a group photo. So as always, we love this photo. We take all of our brass and we stand out in front. So last year we took it out in front. This year we're back in the Kresge Court, which is my favorite location for the picture. We're going to line up on the stage. So in order to do this efficiently, we want all the shorter people to be in the front and all the taller people to be up top on the stairs. So if you don't mind, let's hang out a little bit. So all of the players today that were part of the ceremony, please go to the Kresge Court, which is directly a shot this way, okay? So straight out the doors, into the Kresge Court, onto the stairs. Thank you.